Seems
So
plausible to me.
yeah, so let's talk about this. Mark, I want you to imagine your wife, your precious Laura, has disappeared in a situation just like this one. Detectives have been investigating for weeks, and everything they've seen says this was a tragic accident. She fell in the river. No evidence that they can come up with anywhere that there was any foul play at all. But the TikTok brigade aren't having that. People don't just disappear, they say, ignoring the fact that actually people drown and their bodies are never recovered all the time. Of course, the first rule of true crime is what, Mark?
It's a relative, isn't it?
It's not just a relative.
It's me.
It's the husband.
Yeah.
So their eyes turn to you, Mark.
Yeah.
You've got no particularly good alibi. You work from home. Your kids were at school. You maybe snuck off for a walk on your lunch break, and a neighbor saw you leave and then come back a little bit sweaty. Maybe not wearing the jacket you left in. You took it off because, you were hot. Your neighbor uploads that insight to TikTok. I'm not saying he did it. I'm just saying what I saw was a little weird. That's all.
I've been known to make all sorts of outlandish comments about Laura.
You have said many a thing that could be construed poorly. You had a few Teams meetings that day, but you kept your camera and mic off because you were fucking around on the internet.
Yeah.
And it wasn't important that you talked in the meeting.
That's realistic, let me tell you that.
One of your coworkers uploads that to their TikTok.
Oh.
People start digging. It doesn't take them long to see you have a podcast where you obsess over death and murder. You've talked about how you watch videos of violent deaths. You love a kidnapping by a cartel.
I saw some.
You've even discussed.
In fact.
You've even discussed your perfect murder method: a snatch and grab, kidnapping someone and making them disappear without a trace.
Son of a bitch.
By the way, your podcast co-host is a woman.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Is she in on it?
Oh,
Did we plan this murder so we could be together? Or maybe even more cynically, we planned it because it drives traffic to our podcast. Maybe I convinced you to do it. I am much more of a true crime enthusiast than you are. Maybe this was my end game all along, contacting you out of nowhere 2.5 years ago to do a podcast. Come on.
Holy shit.
You openly consider yourself a Satanist. And everybody knows that Satanists are into ritual sacrifices and murders of initiation. Satanists have no respect for human life. First, it's Sam Smith at the Grammys, and then it's a slippery slope to this. You majored in drama when you were at university. Yeah. You're a good actor. Yeah. Your tears in front of the TV cameras are clearly fake. You know how to act sad, even though you're not. Body language experts upload videos explaining how they can tell by the way your lower lip doesn't tremble that you're being insincere. TikTokers start calling your employer. You're starting to become a distraction to the work environment, and honestly, it's not a good look for the company to employ someone who's being accused of murder. They let you go, and no one else is particularly interested in hiring you after a quick Google search. Your kids go to school. Their peers tell them, your dad murdered your mom. They spend their days at school crying or getting into fights defending you, but they start to question, wait, did dad kill mom? Your relationship with them becomes strained. Meanwhile, the TikTok sleuths have gone to the alleged crime scene. They've touched everything. They've left footprints everywhere. They've broken into homes they think she might be kept in nearby. So when the police arrive to those places, they're completely tainted. They've taken souvenirs. If there were ever any clues, they're gone now. Tip lines are flooded with thousands of calls from people with no direct knowledge of the case, but who are convinced you did this, and they have proof because they've figured out your Reddit username and have been combing over everything you've interacted with. Any real tips or white noise? It's impossible to tell what's genuine amidst the mountains of
Oh
shit.
no.
And then one day their theory is proven wrong. She's found, or they figure out it was some other guy who did it, and the TikTok crowd simply moves on to the next thing. Or maybe they dedicate themselves to trying to prove, no, it was you. They were right all along. But the point is, it doesn't really matter to them. But meanwhile, you've lost your job, probably many friends. Your mom and your brothers have been receiving hateful phone calls, and people are knocking at their doors in the middle of the night. Your kids have been bullied and traumatized and don't trust you. And the TikToker happily pulled in millions of views.
Damn.